The whole basis of ethics is free will. Without free will, there can be no question of changing your own circumstances. Man dragged himself up from savagery when he realized that he didn't have to be the slave of circumstances. He could make his own luck. Like when our caveman forebears were hunter-gatherers and chased bison. When we leveled up to the pastoral level of society, we realized, hey, I don't have to chase animals. I can breed them and have a permanent food source. Thus they herded goats and cows. They leveled up even more with farming. Instead of being the hapless victims of nature, man could alter his environment and wring resources from what was previously wild jungle. This, of course, became even more exaggerated when we had the agricultural revolution in the 1300s, and Europeans discovered how to do crop rotation and add nitrates to the soil. Food yields went up tenfold. Not every place on the planet had the agricultural revolution, and many societies still haven't had it. But Native Americans got to see it on display when they first encountered Europeans, and they were stunned that Europeans cared more about gold than food. In The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith writes, "The poor inhabitants of Cuba and St. Domingo, when they first discovered the Spaniards, used to wear little bits of gold as ornaments in their hair and other parts of their dress. They seemed to value them as we would do any little pebbles of somewhat more than ordinary beauty, and to consider them as just worth the picking up, but not worth the refusing to anybody who asked them. They gave them to their new guests at the first request, without seeming to think that they had made them any very valuable present. They were astonished to observe the rage of the Spaniards to obtain them, and had no notion that there could anywhere be a country in which many people had the disposal of so great a superfluity of food, so scanty always among themselves, that for a small quantity of those glittering baubles, they would willingly give as much as might maintain a whole family for many years." For the Native Americans' part, they were far more preoccupied with the food surpluses the Europeans had. That was wealth. The natives had never seen so much food production, given the fact that they were hunter-gatherers and hadn't yet gone through the agricultural revolution. The Europeans had gone through it in the 1300s, so to them, tons of food wasn't a big deal. In fact, the vast amounts of surpluses actually diminished its perceived value. But the Native Americans had it right, which Adam Smith agrees with. Money is not wealth, says Smith. Money is merely a unit of exchange to receive wealth. Wealth is arable land. Wealth is potable water. Wealth is a bushel of wheat, and so forth. The Spaniards in the 1500s had confused an abstraction for a reality. Corporations are still doing this today. They're not looking at natural resources as wealth. Instead, disastrously, they in many cases will pollute a river to generate more monopoly money. They'll overlook the wealth of a forest to swap it out for the Zimbabwe bucks of fiat currency. This is a critical cognitive error, confusing the abstraction for the reality. It's like mistaking the shadow for the substance, the map for the actual location. And make no mistake, money is no more than a map, and maps lose their value when they don't coincide with the terrain that they're supposed to be describing. What we've had for a long time now is an economic system that's been printing up false maps to bolster confidence, and which more and more don't coincide with the actual reality. We have more and more monopoly money and less real wealth. People give up their family farms for little bits of paper, and we say that they're more rich. In fact, their wealth has decreased, like Adam Smith saying that the true metric of society's wealth is how many children you can have. If you can have 9 children, then you're wealthy. If you can only afford a cat in your tiny studio apartment, you're not wealthy. But we're told through the magic of GDP metrics that we're all much richer than people were 100 years ago, because more of us are locked into the money system, when in reality, we all have less actual real wealth than our grandparents. Conservation, among other things, is about reminding ourselves what real wealth is. The arable land, the potable water, the breathable air, the resources that are the true basis of our prosperity, the non-toxic environment that doesn't compromise our fertility with chemicals and pollution. Conservation helps us snap out of the trance of abstraction and gets us back to basics. In our next presentation, we'll explore the wastefulness of systems that get bogged down in the abstractions. The New American Magazine is now on Locals. It's a for-pay platform for like $5. It gives you access to extra content and allows you to support your favorite hosts. As I said before, think of it like throwing some coins into the cup of a street performer. Check it out at thenewamerican.locals.com.